Tarzan of the Apes. From out the pages of Edgar Rice Burroughs' immortal book, we recall the strange history of Tarzan. Tarzan, the mighty hunter. Tarzan, the white god of a dark continent. Tarzan of the Apes.
You're mad, John. You're mad. There's only one way for you to save your skin now, and that is for you to let me resume command. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court when we return. If you assume command of this boat, it's your death warrant.
I'm the first mate. I take command when anything happens to the captain. Isn't that right?
When anything happens to the captain, yes, it will. Well, get down to it, John. Get down to it. What do you want?
What do you think, Professor Porter?
I really wouldn't know, Mr. Young. I have never made a study of shipwrecks.
No, but you've made a study of old maps. Where is it?
Unfortunately, I don't know what you're talking about.
Stow that. Where is it?
If you will tell me what you are looking for, then perhaps I might not prove so obtuse.
Listen, you old fool. I'm talking about that chart. The one on which the treasure is indicated. Break it out. Where is it?
Mr. Young, do you mind if I open this port and let in some air?
Fango, open that port for the lady.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'll do it.
Fango, get that lubber off of the floor and stow him on the bunk.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Clayton seems to be taking quite a nap.
He isn't dead.
No, he's all right.
Well, Yount, what's your procedure?
Porter, where's that chart?
Really,
You don't know, huh?
I haven't the slightest conception what you're talking about.
Bad memory, eh? Well, there's a cure for that. An old Chinese cure. Gates, Fango, get the professor below. We'll try the water cure for his memory.
Aye, sir. Come on here, Governor.
Unhappy.
Come on now, quit your bleeding. Now, come on here.
Me.
Daddy!
Here, Yount. You wouldn't resort to torture.
No? Listen, Tracy. I'm not committing mutiny to be stopped by that old goat. Yes, I'll torture him. And if he doesn't come through then, there's the woman there. I want that chart, and I'm going to have it.
You're just a little too late, Mr. Young.
Late?
I threw the chart out the port when I opened it just now.
Oh, Jane, you didn't. Why, that chart might have opened a new vista of history.
I'm sorry, Father, but...
Oh, you threw it out of the port, did you? Well, young lady, I think you're lying. And for your sake, you'd better be. I'm going to search your stateroom. And if I don't find it... Gates, you and Fango keep watch here.
Skipper, I would suggest, John, that you drop anchor. You're coming in pretty close. The coastal curve is very gradual on the African west coast.
I'll run the boat, Tracy.
I see you will. Aground.
And another thing. If I don't find that chart in your stateroom, I'm going to give you exactly a half an hour to produce it, Porter. And then your daughter will wish you had.
You swine! We're in a quandary, I'd say. What would you suggest doing, Captain?
John isn't bluffing. The best thing is to give him the chart he's talking about. Because if we don't, John will make good his threats.
Where is the chart, my dear? Be careful that these men don't overhear.
I told the truth, Father. I did throw it overboard.
You mean the chart is gone?
Why, yes. Will it make any difference?
Any difference? All the difference in the world. You'll never get John to believe that you threw it out that port. He'll think you're trying to keep it from him. He'll try to make you tell by every way his devilish mind can think of.
Oh, Jane, you shouldn't have done that. There's no way to get it back now.
There might be.
How?
You know that small jade green bottle that contained poison, Captain? The one you told me to take out of your drawer?
Yes?
Well, I poured the contents of that out. I rolled the chart up and put it in the bottle before I threw it out the port. It might have washed ashore.
It has a good chance of it. The current in the cove swings up against the beach.
Good. The loss of that chart would seriously affect the opportunity of finding vast treasure.
The loss of that chart means more than that, Professor Porter. It will mean the loss of all our lives. We've got to find that chart. We have to find it, that's all.
And if we don't...
It will be unfortunate that Miss Porter emptied the contents of that bottle.
Meanwhile, Yount, the mutinous first mate, has searched every inch of the passengers' cabins, ripping open mattresses, scattering the contents of their luggage, but to no avail. He cannot find the chart. Yount has risked much to get the chart. He leaves the wreckage of the last cabin. He will have that chart. He'll resort to the terrible torture used many years ago in the China Seas, the water cure, where the victim has water forced down his throat until his eyes protrude and his stomach distends, until the intense pressure inside his body bursts his heart. Anything to get that chart. Gaining the deck, Yount notices that the boat is well into the harbor. He orders the anchors dropped and the engines cut. Then, with a fiendish, dreadful glint of purpose making his eyes inhumanly cruel, he makes for the salon. He rips open the door.
Tango, go below. Bring 4 men topside, with buckets and lots of water.
See here, Yount. You're making a mistake. That chart did go out the port.
I don't believe it. They're all lying. But when I get through with you, you'll be begging to tell the truth. Begging.
Don't be a fool, Yount. We know what you're planning to do. Listen. Miss Porter threw that chart out the port. Before she did, she put it in a jade green bottle. The current in this cove will wash that bottle up on the beach. Let me and one of your men go ashore and look for it. To find it's our only chance of saving our skins.
Yount, convinced that Captain Tracy is telling the truth, finally agrees that the captain shall go ashore with 2 of his men to look for the bottle on the beach. But before Captain Tracy leaves, Yount takes the 2 men who are to accompany him outside the cabin and talks to them.
Gates, you and Fango go ashore with Tracy. He's looking for a jade green bottle that's washed ashore.
Aye, sir.
And when you come back alone. Understand?
I understand, sir. We'll stick the blighter. Fango's a hitchin' to carve his even initials in somebody's back.
All right. Get those davits out and put that boat over the side.
Crouching high up in a tree hidden from view, Tarzan watches as a small boat bearing 3 men pulls to shore. The ape-man for the first time is seeing beings of his own kind. His first impulse is to drop down the tree, run down to the beach to greet them. But the shyness of a wild thing keeps him motionless, staring from his retreat. Fango, the giant Chinese, whose eyes are dead and unblinking as a serpent's, and the sly Cockney Gates are rowing the heavy boat. In the bow sits Captain Tracy, his weather-beaten face a mask. Tarzan watches the men beach the boat and start walking slowly down the shore looking for something. Tarzan follows them, swinging slowly, silently from branch to branch in the wooded fringe which separates the jungle from the shore. Studying the first of his fellow men that he has ever seen, Tarzan takes a liking to the captain. The other 2 he despises. They slink behind the tall men as 2 cowardly hyenas following a sick lion. Tarzan's mind is in a chaos of curiosity. For what are they looking? Then he sees the tall man reach down with a cry and pick up something green from the beach. The 2 others snatch it from his hand. With a gesture, Tarzan freezes. There will be a fight. 2 against 1. Tarzan will go to the aid of the tall man. But to his surprise, the tall man merely shrugs and turns about to return to the boat. Is he afraid, Tarzan wonders? They retrace their steps. The tall man is still ahead, followed by the copper man and the weazened one. Tarzan follows them. His keen eyes see the weazened man nod to the copper man, whose eyes are like hista, the snakes. The copper man slowly draws a long knife from his waist. He stoops, then rushes up behind the tall man. Tarzan yells to warn him. Tracy turns at the fearful cry. The Chinaman's knife is descending on him. Tracy's fist shoots out. It lands on the Oriental's jaw. The knife descends, gashing his arm. But the blow has sent Fango back so that the cruel blade is not plunged into his body. For a second, all 3 stand motionless. Then Gates dives at Tracy's legs. Tracy brings up his foot, catches Gates full in the mouth. Gates groans, but catches the captain's legs. He goes down. Fango jumps on the captain, patting both knees in his chest, raises his knife high to plunge it into Tracy's heart. Tarzan drops from the tree, dashes down the beach toward the fighting men. The knife flashes downward. And now we bring you another episode of Edgar Rice Burroughs' amazing story, Tarzan of the Apes. Tarzan drops from a tree, dashes down the beach toward the fighting men. The knife flashes downward. Tracy closes his eyes. It's the end. Tarzan's flying feet send silent sprays of sand shooting out behind him. Fango's arm, which is driving the knife downward into Tracy, is grasped by Tarzan, pulled back with a terrific jerk which almost pulls his arm out of its socket. The Chinaman is hurled from Tracy's body and sent sprawling backwards. Gates draws a knife and leaps upon Tarzan's unprotected back, but his shadow on the sand warns Tarzan. He whirls, catches the Cockney's upraised hand in his, and with his free hand he grasps the Cockney's throat. Tarzan's vice-like fingers close the man's windpipe. The Cockney's eyes bulge. His face turns a ghastly blue. He sinks to his knees, limp. Tarzan releases his death grip, and Gates pitches forward in the sand, unconscious, all but dead. For a second, Tarzan looks at his fellow men. His lip curls contemptuously. He turns to the others. Fango snatches the green jade bottle and runs for the jungle. Tracy's after him. Tracy knows that to return the bottle to Yount is the only way to save Jane, Clayton, and Professor Porter. The giant Chinaman is swifter by far than Tracy, who doggedly runs after him. The two men disappear in the rank undergrowth of the jungle. Tarzan, puzzled, watches, and then follows them, leaving the inert Gates lying on the sand. Gaining the jungle, Tarzan leaps into a tree, swings off after the pair. His mind is in a quandary. The copper man and the wizened one are not trying to kill the tall man because they want to eat him. It's because of the green thing he had seen them pick up on the beach. They belong to the same tribe. They came from the same boat, yet two of them had tried to kill the other. It's all very strange, Tarzan thinks, as he speeds through the trees following the trail of the two men. He pauses for a second, standing poised on a branch, and looks down in the thick underbrush below, studying it for a moment. Evidently, the copper man, with eyes like Hista's, had outdistanced the man whose face he liked. The tall man had gone off in one direction in pursuit. It would be better to follow the copper man, the man he did not like, for he had the green thing which he had taken away from the tall man. Tarzan leaps to another branch and is on his way with terrific silent speed of an arboreal ape on the hunt. He comes upon the Chinaman pushing his way through the jungle. He is no longer running, but walking, seemingly a little uncertain of his course. The man is lost. With a suddenness which makes the Chinaman step backward with a cry, Tarzan drops down in front of him. An expression of terror crosses the Oriental's face. But he's no coward. He stands his ground, waiting. The Chinaman is nearly as tall as Tarzan. He's a brute of a man, heavy-muscled, agile. The copper man appraises the bronze giant who stands observing him so curiously. Slowly, hardly perceptibly, the Chinaman's hand creeps to the knife at his belt. Tarzan sees the movement, but is indifferent to it. By the time it'll take the copper man to draw the knife and come close enough to bring it into play, he'll be ready for him. Suddenly, Fango whips the knife from his belt, pulls it back over his head, hurls it with the full force of his tremendous arm. The knife tries striking him in the shoulder. With a triumphant cry, Fango rushes the ape man. Meanwhile, aboard the tramp steamer in the harbor, we find that Jane Porter and her father and William Clayton, locked in the salon, waiting for Tracy to return the jade green bottle, which will save their lives.
This waiting is driving me mad. I'll play you a game of Russian bank until Captain Tracy comes back, Mr. Clayton.
You know, I've a hunch that Tracy isn't coming back.
Nonsense, Clayton. Of course he's coming back. He'll have no alternative. That pirate Yount sent two of his men ashore with him. At the same time, I wish I knew what had happened to Philander.
It wouldn't surprise me if he sent those men not to make sure that he would come back, but to make sure he wouldn't. I saw Yount take the Chinaman aside and tell him something. By the nasty look in the beggar's face, I'd say that it didn't look any too well for the captain. As to Philander, he can't be any worse off than we are.
You're right. Our own position is none too safe. In fact, it might almost be classed as hazardous.
Oh, I hardly think Yount would dare do away with us. If Captain Tracy finds the chart, we'll probably lose the treasure, if there is a treasure, and then be set ashore in some strange port to make our way back as best we can.
Yount would dare anything. With any of us alive, he's in constant danger. However, if he can do away with us, disband the crew and scuttle the ship, he'd be comparatively safe. Naturally, the ship would be reported missing. And after a while, it would be thought one of the tragedies of the sea, where a ship goes down with all hands lost and is never heard of again.
Well, you have the most charming imagination, Mr. Clayton.
Oh, I don't wish to be alarming, but we might as well face this thing. We're in a beastly hole.
On the other hand, Clayton, there's no use congesting our livers by getting into a frenzy about it. No. There's nothing we can do but wait. So let's wait with the minimum of effort.
If there were only some way we could barricade ourselves and at least hold them off for a bit. By Jove!
What?
As long as the ship is at anchor, no one is likely to go near the steering gear.
Well?
And it's on the deck below this, a filthy hole, but it has a watertight compartment door. It's the last place they would look for us in, and even if they did find us, they'd have the Dickens' own time getting into us.
Well, the only trouble with your idea, Mr. Clayton, seems to lie in getting there.
And that I don't think is so very difficult. I've been watching our guard. He's a big Negro, a mute. And being a mute, he can't raise an outcry.
But this door is locked. We can't...
One good jar would burst it open. We'll both throw our weight against it. Once outside, you and Jane make for the steering gear. I'll take care of the Negro.
All right. Let's try it.
Right. Both together. Now! Run now! I'll get the guard. The sound of the door being burst open carries faintly to the captain's cabin, where Yount is sitting with his right-hand man sniped.
What was that?
I didn't hear nothing, Chief.
I thought I heard something. Anyway, I'm going to take every man ashore. And I'm going to find Tracy and that double-crossing cheek and limey if I have to crawl across Africa on my hands and knees.
Maybe they're still looking for the green bottle on the beach.
Don't be a fool. They found the bottle, and the three of them have gone after the treasure. Tracy's got a smooth tongue. He talked them into running out on me. But I'll find them, and when I do, it'll be very artistic, Snipes. All hands on deck, and ship them all over the side.
Shall I leave the dumb nigger to stand watch over the passengers?
No.
Ain't they liable to get away?
No.
You ain't going to...
Yes. We gotta get rid of them sometime. Give me that automatic. And get these men in the boats while I cancel our passengers' round-trip tickets.
Righto. I'll send one of the boats back after you as soon as...
This way, Porter.
What was that? Hey, look out the port here.
What?
The guys have busted down the tunnel.
Now, let me see. A fine guard you put over them.
Shall I follow them, Chief?
No, they're going below. Let's see what their game is.
Righto.
Come on.
Now we return to Tarzan. He tries to lift his arm. There's a shooting pain in his shoulder. If he moves his arm, he'll cut a muscle. The arm is useless until he removes the knife. Fango is upon him, confident that his strength will equal that of Tarzan now that one arm is crippled. Fango snatches up a dead branch, swinging the club around his head, bears down upon Tarzan. Tarzan stands motionless, waiting. Fango wields the club high, brings it down with tremendous force. With a speed greater than any boxer's, Tarzan sidesteps. The club barely misses him. Tarzan's good arm shoots out, catches the Chinaman around the waist. With a mighty jerk, sends Fango spinning, the club flying from his hand. Before he falls, Tarzan is upon him. Running low like a football player, Tarzan strikes Fango with his good leg just above the knees. Chinaman falls over Tarzan's back. At the same time, Tarzan stands up, grabbing the Chinaman's foot. Fango hangs over Tarzan's shoulder like a sack of meal, holding the Chinaman's ankle in an arm grasp. Tarzan starts to revolve. Faster, faster. Fango swings out wide in an arc. Tarzan, with superhuman strength, clings to his ankle as he turns faster, faster. Tarzan is swinging Fango around with him. And as an athlete will swing a hammer, leaning back farther and farther, turning faster and faster. Suddenly, Tarzan lets go. Fango flies through the air with a flash of fire. Fango crumbles at the base of the tree, stunned. He struggles to his feet, wavers. There's fear in his eyes. Fear for this man whose strength is that of the great apes. Tarzan is upon him before he can run. Fango picks up a huge rock, raises it high over his head with both hands, and hurls it at Tarzan. The rock flies directly at Tarzan's head. Tarzan ducks. It misses him by a fraction of an inch. On Tarzan comes. Fango turns to run. It's too late. The ape-man's charging body strikes him, drives him against a small tree. Tarzan's good arm wraps about the Chinaman in the tree. The great muscles in his arm tense. Slowly, as he crushes the murderous, writhing Fango against the tree. The great muscles in Tarzan's neck, shoulder, and arm knot and swell as he exerts his terrific strength. Tarzan releases his hold. The Chinaman slumps to the ground. Tarzan gives no further attention to the dead man. Slowly, carefully, he removes the knife sticking from his shoulder. The pain makes his jaw muscles bulge. The knife comes out easily, and to his surprise, he can now move his arm. The wound is minor but painful. Tarzan selects leaves from a nearby shrub, and with them treats the open wound. He turns his attention to the dead Chinaman, searches him until he finds the green bottle, and starts with never a backward glance at his victim to seek the tall man to whom the bottle belongs. Swinging with easy grace and miraculous speed, Tarzan comes upon Captain Tracy, hopelessly lost in the maze of undergrowth. A slight movement in the tall grass behind Tracy catches Tarzan's eye. A tawny shadow. Numa, the lion, crouched for a spring. Again, we bring you another episode from Edgar Rice Burroughs' startling book, Tarzan of the Apes. Swinging with easy grace and miraculous speed, Tarzan soon comes upon Captain Tracy, hopelessly lost in the maze of undergrowth. Silently, unseen, Tarzan looks down upon the man and pities his inadequacy. A slight movement in the tall grass behind Tracy catches Tarzan's eye. A tawny shadow, Numa, the lion, crouched for a spring. His sinewy legs drawn deep under him, his lean body low, yellow fangs bared, lips twisted in a fearful, soundless snarl. His body sinks lower, crouching for that terrific, deadly spring. Lower, lower, inch by inch, lower. In a moment, there'll be a roaring snarl, a mangled body. Lower, lower. With swift, steady fingers, Tarzan snatches an arrow from his quiver, fits it into the bowstring. With bow pulled taut, Tarzan waits. The lion's eyes glow. His body is tense, ready. Slowly, the merciless yellowish-green eyes close as the huge, dripping mouth opens. Numa snarls. Tracy whirls, pulled into the face of snarling death. Tracy screams. There's a moment of deadly tension. Numa springs. As the lithe, muscular body launches itself, an arrow flies from Tarzan's bow, plunges deep into Numa's side. For a moment, the charge is stopped, but only for a moment. Numa turns, snaps at the arrow buried in his lean side. Tracy starts to run, stumbles, falls. And Numa, in an agony of pain and rage, whirls around, tenses for one more terrific spring upon the prone man. Tracy crawls, rolls, digs his fingers deep into the earth to drag himself to safety. It's no use. Numa springs. Like a plummet, Tarzan drops from a tree, lands upon the hurling beast in midair, his fingers clutching the infuriated beast's shaggy mane. They twist in the air, fall. Tarzan's mighty right arm encircles the beast's neck. The giant paws strike out. Tarzan clings to the brutish neck. Slowly, with sinew-tearing strength, he pulls the great head backward. Twisting, snarling, clawing, backward, backward. Suddenly, Tarzan's knife flashes, plunges with terrific force into the side of the lion again and again and again. Slowly, the great muscles of the lion relax. The yellowish-green fire fades from his eyes. The great head goes loose in Tarzan's grasp. Numa is dead. Dropping the dead lion, Tarzan throws back his head, beats his chest as he sends echoing through the jungle his cry of triumph. The cry of the victor. Tarzan, the mighty hunter, has made a kill.
Thanks. Thanks, old man. You saved my life. It was, well, all but unbelievable. My name's Tracy.
Numa Bundolo Tarmant Gani. Tarzan Bundolo Numa. Numa Bun.
I don't understand.
Numa Bundolo Tarmant Gani.
I'm sorry, old man, but English is the only language I know.
Tarzan studies Tracy curiously. Slowly, he walks around him. Finally, Tracy starts off, motioning Tarzan to follow him. Tarzan realizes that the man is going in the direction away from which he came. He grasps Tracy's arm to lead him in the opposite direction. Certain that he's right, Tracy starts off again in the wrong direction. This time, Tarzan takes from his leopard skin girdle the green jade bottle and thrusts it into Tracy's hand. Tracy is amazed.
Bottle.
And then...
A green bottle.
He's aghast. With a swift gesture, Tarzan grabs Tracy, hoists him to his shoulder. Tracy struggles futilely and then relaxes. Certainly, this forest man who saved his life at the risk of his own has no intent other than for good. Tracy is appalled. Tarzan leaps, grasps the lower branch of a tree. Up he leaps from branch to branch. In a moment, they're sweeping along with incredible speed. Meanwhile, Clayton, Jane, and Professor Porter are stealthily making their way aft, where they intend to hide themselves from Yount, believing they'll be safe. Unknown to them, Yount and Snipes are following.
I thought I heard somebody following us.
I too heard something.
Come on, hurry along. It's just through this next bulkhead.
Stay where you are, or I'll shoot.
Run for it. Take Jane's other arm, Professor.
Come on. Sit down.
Here. In here.
Right.
Get in, Jane.
Shut the door.
Come on,
Give me a hand with this door.
Now, what's the matter with you, Snipes? Can't you hit anything?
Well, they mind it.
Fine marksmanship. Fine marksmanship, Snipes.
Them 45s ain't so easy to handle.
Ah, you couldn't hit him with a machine gun.
And what are we going to do? We ain't got a chance of getting through that door.
Nor of them getting out. There's a latch on both sides. Fasten the bolt.
Hey, Chief, what's the lie? Am I supposed to sit on my ditty bag doing nothing but waiting for them to get ready to come out?
They aren't coming out.
Oh, Yount, that's pretty raw, ain't it? Letting a dime starve to death?
They aren't going to starve to death. Open that seacock.
They'll drown like that. Why, I ain't soft or nothing, but... Well, can't we just maroon them someplace, you know, sort of give them a run for their alley?
Don't be a fool, Snipes. With them alive, our name will be carved on every gallows in the country. If we get them out of the way, get the treasure, scuttle the old tub, we're away clean.
Sure. That's all right for the guy in the old geezer. But what about the dime? Yount, that is...
When I want any suggestions from you, Snipes, I'll ask for them. Crack that valve and come on. I want to get ashore and hunt down Tracy. I stuck my head in the noose for a treasure, and I'm not going to be cheated out of it.
Nobody ever cheated you out of nothing yet, Yount. But if you side turn it, I'll turn it.
Turn it. She's on full?
As far as she'll go.
That ends 3 of our worries. Come along.
Have you a match, Professor? There ought to be a lamp in here somewhere.
Something just ran over my foot.
A rodent of some sort, no doubt.
Hurry, Mr. Clayton. Put on the light.
Here are some matches. Always the last pocket in which one looks.
There's a lamp over there.
Oh, what luck. Oh, this is great luck. Lamp's full.
Oh, the place is alive with rats.
Rather an ancient and fish-like smell, if I may quote Shakespeare.
Imagine that beast Yount firing on a
Oh,
woman.
this is terrible.
I've been thinking it over, Clayton. The best thing for us to do is to go out, face them, and offer to do anything in return for their word to give Jane safe passage to the next port.
Their word? What good will that do?
Oh, those terrible, nasty little eyes.
By George, look, they're scurrying.
Why, half of them have gone already.
Thank heaven. What in the world do you suppose started them off that way?
When rats desert, it's an ill omen, they say. Look, why, this compartment is being flooded.
Oh, let's get out of this.
They're going to flood us out.
Open the door, Clayton.
Oh, no, I'm standing in water now.
Well, we might as well go out and face it. When I open the door, stand back.
Oh, for pity's sake, open it.
All right. Stand back, Professor. Why, the door must be stuck. Put your shoulder to it. All right, now. 1, 2, 3.
That door isn't stuck, Clayton. It's bolted on the other side.
You mean we're locked in?
Oh, now, don't worry. We'll pound on the door and they'll open up. Hand me that bar over there. Oh, Jane.
Yes, yes.
Let me help you up on the pipe there so you can keep your feet
Oh,
dry.
don't bother. I'm wet up to my knees now. Hurry, knock on the door.
Here, Clayton. Here's the bar.
Right. They'll hear this.
Oh, surely they'll open the door.
Why, of course. But that's funny, they don't answer. Yon, open the door. Yon, you hear? Open the door. You can't let us drown like this. Yon!
Tarzan of the Apes, brought to you from out the pages of Edgar Rice Burroughs' immortal book.
Yon! You can't leave us here. It's murder.
No. And why not?
Why, it's monstrous. It's outrageous. It's... Ah!
I can't leave you in there, eh? You're trying to tell me that the young lady spoke the truth when she said that she threw the bottle overboard.
It is the truth. I swear it.
Yeah, and if that's the truth, what do I want to set you free for? By the time Gates gets back with the plans, well, there won't be any waiting tongues left.
If ever I get out of here, Yon, I'll kill you.
Get out! Fat chance of that. This door is barred on this side. In 30 minutes. Oh, maybe a minute or two more. The water will be up to the deck plate. Get out! That's a good one.
Oh, this is terrible. The water is up to the pipe I'm standing on now.
No use wasting time and breath on these villains, Clayton. Come on. Get out of the water and climb out of this locker.
At the rate this water is pouring in here, it won't take any half hour to drown us.
No, Jane. You climb onto this higher pipe. See, I'll help you. There. And you, Professor, you'd better get on top of the gear.
Yes. But what are you going to do, Clayton?
I just can't stay still. I must do something.
But there's nothing to be done, old man. The water's already 5 feet deep and...
I'm not going to sit here and drown. I won't. I'll think of something.
Oh, my dear chap, what can we do? It's all up with us. Even if we could break the door open, they'd shoot us like dogs. Look out. I nearly lost my balance.
By Jove. I say, quickly, Jane. That pipe above you. Is it warm, hot?
Oh, yes, burning.
Then there's steam in it. Now, only there are tools in the locker.
What do you mean, Clayton? What are you...
I'm no engineer, but I've heard that if you turn cold water into a hot boiler, the boiler blows up.
Well, I don't understand.
See, here. This pipe. Well, if we can uncouple this flange, the water will go down the pipe into the engine room.
But by the time the water is that high, we'll be drowned.
Oh, no, we won't. Quick, Daddy, you climb onto this ridge here.
That's right. Hang on to that seam, flange, or whatever it is.
And look here, if it's a choice between being blown up and being drowned, I'd just as soon be drowned.
Yes, but don't forget, Professor. If we get blown up, so do Yont and his crew.
I can't find much consolation in that.
Not consolation, Professor, but threats. Make enough noise here and Yont will come to see what's up. If he refuses to let us out, calls our bluff, in other words, we'll blow the ship up.
Oh, you'll have to hurry. I can't hold on much longer. The water is
You
almost...
can't get into that locker now, Clayton. Why, man, it's madness.
Can't I, though? Watch. Now, see if I got the right wrench. Yes, this is it. I can't move it. You hold the wrench, Jane. I'll go back for the hammer.
Quickly, I'm afraid I can't hold on.
Just one more minute. There's the girl. Either we win or...
I'll help you, Clayton. I can hang on to that pipe.
You can't. You couldn't keep your head high enough. It'll be over our heads in a minute. Ready? Now hold the wrench while I hit it.
Making it, Clayton?
Yes, Daddy. There are 3 of them out. Bolts, I mean. How many more?
Just 2 more. And...
Hey! What's going on in here? What are you doing all?
Get Yont. Tell him if he doesn't open this door, we'll blow the ship up.
Tarzan stops in his race through the treetops. Tracy draws a deep breath. Since the moment Tarzan had thrown him across his shoulders, the journey has been one long nightmare. Every moment he's expected to be his last. Any second to find himself hurtling through space, down to the ground, 100 feet below. Tarzan lowers Tracy from his shoulders, holds him until the captain's feet find a resting place. But Tracy needs no warning to hang on. Stretching himself, Tarzan grins, opens his mouth, and rubs an expressive hand across his stomach. Tracy laughs.
Yes, old man, I am hungry. And language or no language, there's one sign I understand.
Tarzan nods. He grips Tracy about the waist. With the speed of a falling stone, like some burnished bronze missile, he drops from limb to limb. The speed almost sickens Tracy. He closes his eyes, only to open them again when he feels Tarzan shaking him. Finds himself on solid ground. With a word and a sign, which Tracy takes to mean, stay here, Tarzan speeds into the undergrowth. He searches with keen eyes the moss-covered ground. His nostrils quiver. A sigh of satisfaction escapes him. The fine hairs on the nape of his neck stand up. He has seen the spoor of Horta, the boar. Tarzan crouches, moves forward stealthily, his sun-bronzed body melting into the jungle growth. His feet fall on the tangled twigs and leaves with never a sound. There's a crackling of bush ahead. He brushes aside a giant fern leaf, looks into the clearing. There is his meal, Horta, the boar. And Horta has seen the ape-man. With a snarl, the beast lowers his head. Its piggish eyes glint evilly. The curled, foaming lips draw back viciously from the pointed tusks. Its cloven hoofs paw the ground. The tough hide tightens as he tenses for the charge. Tarzan grips his knife. His muscles quiver, stand out like knotted cords against the gleaming skin, waiting for Horta to make the first move. Horta charges. The gleaming fangs, sharper by far than Sabor's, miss the ape-man's leg by a fraction of an inch. Like a flash, Tarzan drops on Horta's back. The brute stops, leaps forward. Tarzan hangs on. The boar weaves from one side to the other, digs its hoofs into the moss, lashes its tail. Then, a vicious swing of its head, tusks bared. One of them grazes Tarzan's leg. But it's the move that Tarzan's been waiting for. His arm raises and falls. He plunges his knife into the brute's neck. A scream of pain. Horta raises on his haunches, throws himself on his back, rolls over. Upwards, down, sideways, Tarzan's knife flashes again and again. The gleaming steel sinks into the brute's neck, but Horta is not easily killed. Stretching, squirming, twisting, he throws Tarzan from his back. Like a flash, he turns on his tormentor. The maddened brute is on top of the ape-man. Tarzan thrusts both arms upward, trying to keep those deadly tusks from his throat. He raises his knee, strains his back, pushes upward. The veins in his forehead are almost bursting. A superhuman effort as he forces Horta's head back. Slowly, a fraction of an inch, a little more yet. Horta strangles, gasps, closes his eyes, turns his head. Tarzan draws his right arm back, brings it forward with a blow like a sledgehammer, buries the knife in the brute's throat, and throws the carcass aside. Tarzan jumps to his feet, places his foot on Horta's neck, and from his powerful throat comes the victorious cry of the great ape. The jungle for miles around is quiet. Even Numa stirs uneasily at Tarzan's call. Suddenly, Tarzan hears a call the jungle has never heard before. Tarzan stops. The sound comes from the place he'd left Tracy. Leaping like a panther, he bounds across the clearing. Heedless of noise, he sweeps aside branch and vine that bar his path and bursts into the open. The crying is weaker. Tracy, searching for water, has wandered away from the spot where Tarzan left him. He's trapped in the quicksand. His arms stretch like flails. His fingers clench and unclench, grasping, striking, clawing, reaching for nothing in an agony of despair. Tarzan gestures to him to be still. In his frenzy, Tracy pays no attention. The sand is up to his middle. He feels it sucking, pulling, drawing him down. Tarzan reaches the edge of the sand trap, throws himself on the ground. Stretching his arms to Tracy, his toes press themselves into the sand. Tracy gasps, reaching for the ape-man's hands. Their hands touch. Tarzan eases himself forward. The soft, squelchy sand gives under his chest. He braces himself. His sinews crack under the pulling, tearing strain. His breath whistles through his feet. He pulls harder. Tracy, his feet held fast by the treacherous vine, grows panicky, writhes, twists. He struggles harder, deeper into the quagmire. Tarzan's breath comes in gasps. Lungs are at the bursting point. His chest heaves with a strain. Tracy struggles, going closer, deeper, further into the bottomless sand.